Vernon Tate is 75 and owns his home free and clear until the 2026 assessment notice landed in his mailbox and his property tax jumped by hundreds of dollars he did not have. He had paid the house off for exactly this reason, so no one could ever take it. Now the county was quietly raising the rent on land he already owned. His grandfather had lived through the Great Depression and taught Vernon one thing above all: never accept a bill as final. So Vernon didn't. What he did next saved him more than any raise ever could, and it's number one on this list. A Depression-era family fought for every dollar and questioned every price because they had learned the hard way that nothing was fixed and no one was coming to help. We forgot that the moment times got easy. Now, with property taxes climbing and fixed incomes frozen, that old fight is exactly what a senior needs. Vernon's grandfather's habits run through everything that follows. Number 19 is a challenge most seniors never file, and it can cut a tax bill outright. Number 16 can send money straight back to you from the state. And number 1 is the move that saved Vernon his home. These 20 habits aren't about paying the hike quietly. They're about fighting it and winning. Hit that subscribe button. Let's count them down. Number 20. Read the assessment notice line by line. The hike hides in a document most people never actually read. When the assessment notice arrives, you read every line: the assessed value, the exemptions applied, the comparison to last year, because that number is what your whole tax bill is built on. If the county overvalued your home, every dollar after it is inflated. Vernon compared his new notice to the old one and found his home's value had jumped far more than the houses around it. His grandfather read every figure on every statement he ever received. Roughly a third of the tax bill can hinge on whether that one assessed number is right, not paranoia. The first step to catching a hike before you pay it. Number 19. Appeal the assessment. You don't need a lawyer. This is the challenge most seniors never file, and it's the most direct weapon against a hike. Appealing the assessment is separate from any exemption. It challenges whether the number the assessor put on your home is even correct. You pull the recent sale prices of similar homes nearby, and if yours is valued too high, you file the appeal with your county. No lawyer, no fee to affirm, and you keep every dollar you save. Vernon gathered comparable sales himself and filed his own appeal. His grandfather never accepted a price without first testing whether it was fair. Many appeals succeed simply because the assessor's number was never checked against real sales. Not a fight only the rich can win. A form and some homework that can lower the bill outright. Number 18. File the senior homestead exemption. Nearly every state offers one, and the relief rarely arrives on its own. You have to claim it. A senior homestead exemption shrinks the taxable value of your home before the rate is even applied, sometimes by tens of thousands of dollars. You file one form at the county assessor's office, and in some places it's a one-time application that stays in effect. Vernon discovered he'd been eligible for years and had never filed it. His grandfather claimed every break he was owed and considered it foolish not to. Some senior exemptions knock $50,000 or more off the taxable value. Not a handout. A reduction written into the law specifically for homeowners your age. Number 17. Apply for the assessment freeze. For a senior on a fixed income, this one can be life-changing. Many states, Texas, New Jersey, Illinois, and others, offer a freeze that locks your assessed value or your tax amount at a base year so that even when home values and rates climb, your bill does not. Once you qualify, the hikes simply stop reaching you. Vernon applied for his state's freeze the same week his notice came. His grandfather locked in every fixed cost he could, so no rising price could catch him. Once the freeze is in place, the market can climb all at once, and your bill stays put. Not a temporary discount, a wall that holds your tax bill still while everyone else's climbs. Number 16. Claim the circuit breaker credit. This one can send money straight back to you from the state. A circuit breaker works like the switch in your electrical box. If your property tax exceeds a set percentage of your income, the state refunds the difference. In 2026, states like Massachusetts and Missouri raised their caps, and some seniors get over $1,000 back, while New Jersey's program reimburses up to half the bill, and Kansas refunds 75% for low-income seniors. You usually claim it through your state income tax return. Vernon filed for his and got a check back that covered most of the hike. His grandfather chased every refund he was owed and never once called it charity. Not charity. Your own tax money, returned when the bill outruns your income.
Before we go on, I made something special for you. Guides for people like us who still believe the old ways mattered. They're the forgotten money habits our grandparents lived by, tricks that could save you thousands a year. But this knowledge is disappearing, and once it's gone for good. I've put together 2 books for you plus a free bonus. Imagine how much you could save over the next year by starting today. Scan the QR code on screen now or click the link below. I'll wait.
Number 15. Ask about a deferral if you're house rich but cash poor. When the bill simply cannot be paid this year, this is the safety valve. A deferral lets you postpone some or all of your property taxes, which then become a lien on the home, repaid with modest interest when the house is sold or passes to your estate. It trades a bill you can't afford now for one paid later out of the home's value. Vernon learned his state offered it as a backstop if his appeal failed. His grandfather never paid in a panic when he could arrange to pay in calm. The interest is usually modest, and the home stays in your name the whole time. Not free money, and not for everyone. A way to keep your home when the cash isn't there this year. Number 14. Stack every program you qualify for. Here is what almost no one realizes. You don't have to choose just one. In many states, you can layer relief, the standard homestead exemption, the senior exemption, the assessment freeze, and a circuit breaker credit, each cutting the bill further. In Cook County, Illinois, a single senior can hold 3 exemptions at once. You apply for every program you're eligible for, not just the first one you find. Vernon stacked his senior exemption on top of his appeal and his freeze. His grandfather took every advantage the rules allowed, all at the same time. Combined, the stacked relief can cut a bill by far more than any one break alone. Not greedy. The plain math that combined relief beats any single program alone. Number 13. Watch the deadlines and reapply on time. The cruelest way to lose this money is to miss a date. Many exemptions and appeals have hard deadlines, often in March or April, and some income-based programs must be renewed every single year with updated documents. Miss the window and you wait a whole year, paying the full hike in the meantime. Vernon marks every property tax deadline on the calendar taped to his refrigerator. His grandfather never let a bill or a form catch him off guard. Miss it by a day, and the whole year's relief is gone. Not bureaucratic nonsense. The one date that stands between you and the relief you've earned. Now, here is why property tax hikes hit seniors harder than anyone, and why this fight matters so much. A working family can absorb a rising tax bill because their income rises too. A senior on Social Security cannot. Your income is frozen, but the assessor's number climbs every year with the housing market, so the hike comes straight out of a fixed check that never grows to meet it. This year's cost of living raise was about $56 a month, and the Medicare Part B premium climbed to $202.90, eating most of it before a single tax dollar was even counted. Senior poverty is at 15%, the highest of any age group, and the relief that could stop the bleeding almost never arrives on its own. The county will happily keep collecting from anyone who never files. That is the trap. And every habit on this list, old and new, is a way out of it. Number 12. Set aside for the tax bill before it comes. The property tax is never a surprise, so a Depression-era family never let it become a crisis. You divide the yearly bill by 12 and set that much aside every month in an envelope or a separate account, so when the bill lands, it's already paid. The tax that wrecks other households is one you've quietly handled in advance. Vernon puts a little toward his tax bill every month now, the way his grandfather set money aside for every expense he could see coming. His grandfather kept a jar for the taxes, and it was never empty when the bill arrived. A bill you've saved for all year lands soft instead of hard, not complicated, turning the dreaded once-a-year bill into 12 small, painless ones. Number 11. Cook from scratch to free up the cash. Every dollar you save on food is a dollar toward the tax bill, and scratch cooking saves the most. You keep the cheap staples, beans, rice, oats, and flour, and make your meals by hand instead of buying the packaged versions that cost 3 times as much. A pound of dried beans runs about $2 and feeds you for a week. Vernon cooks from scratch now and redirects what he saves straight toward the county. His grandfather's whole kitchen ran on flour, beans, and know-how through the leanest years, and no one at his table ever felt poor, not deprivation, turning grocery savings into tax money. Number 10. Waste absolutely nothing. A Depression family treated a wasted scrap as a wasted dollar, and those dollars add up to a tax payment. You use the whole chicken, simmer the bones into stock, and turn every leftover into the next meal, because nothing edible is ever thrown out. The average household wastes over $100 of food a month, money that could go straight to the assessor instead. Vernon throws away almost nothing now. His grandfather could read a hard year in how little went in the bin. Every scrap saved is a scrap you don't have to buy again. Not thrift for its own sake, redirecting what you'd have thrown away toward the bill you can't avoid. Number 9. Grow and preserve your own food. A Depression garden fed the family when money vanished, and even a small one cuts the grocery bill today. You grow what you can in pots or a patch, tomatoes, greens, herbs, and preserve the surplus by canning or freezing for the winter when the same food costs triple. Every jar you put up is money that stays home for the tax. Vernon grows tomatoes and cans them each fall the way his grandmother filled the cellar. His grandfather's garden was the family's second income, and it never once sent a bill. Not a quaint hobby. A grocery aisle you grow yourself, freeing cash for the county. Number 8. Cut every other bill to the bone. With the tax rising, a Depression-minded senior attacks every bill that can be lowered. You break the cable bundle down to internet and an antenna, cancel the forgotten subscriptions, and call to negotiate the phone and insurance. Trimming a few recurring bills frees $100 a month or more, real money against the hike. Vernon cut his cable and 2 dead subscriptions and put every dollar toward the tax. His grandfather questioned the price of everything he ever paid for. A cable bundle cut to internet and an antenna alone can save $100 a month. not going without. Clearing the small leaks to cover the big bill. Number 7. Do your own home repairs. A Depression-era man fixed his own house, and it saved money in 2 ways. You handle the small repairs yourself, the faucet, the paint, the patched screen, instead of paying a tradesman, keeping that cash for the tax. And you're careful about big visible upgrades because a major renovation can raise your assessment and your bill along with it. Vernon fixes what he can himself and thinks twice before any change that would catch the assessor's eye. His grandfather kept a workbench where every repair got done at home. A $10 part and an hour of your time replace a service call every time. Not just penny pinching, saving the labor cost and keeping the assessment down at once. Number 6. Buy used and make do. A Depression-era family bought sound used items and mended what they had, and every dollar not spent on new is a dollar for the tax. You furnish from estate sales and second-hand stores, mend the clothes, and keep the good tools running for decades. Vernon furnished half his house second-hand for the cost of 1 new chair. His grandfather lived the whole motto: use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. A good used piece often outlasts the new one anyway. Not settling for less, keeping your money for the bill that actually matters. Number 5. Claim the other benefits that free up money. The property tax isn't the only place a senior is owed help, and claiming the rest frees cash to pay it. You apply for SNAP, LIHEAP for the heat, and a Medicare savings program to cover the Part B premium. Each one puts money back in your pocket for the tax bill. $58 billion in benefits goes unclaimed by seniors every year. Vernon claimed 3 programs he'd never known about and redirected the savings to the county. His grandfather considered it plain foolishness to leave owed money unclaimed. A Medicare savings program alone can hand back the $200 Part B premium every month. Not a handout. Money freed on one side to cover the bill on the other. Number 4. Know your numbers. Cold. A Depression shopper carried every price in his head and could not be fooled, and today that means knowing your home's fair value and your bill's true math. You keep the recent sale prices of comparable homes so you can spot an inflated assessment on site, and you check every line of the tax bill for errors and creeping fees. Vernon knew what the houses on his street sold for, which is exactly how he won his appeal. His grandfather knew the fair price of everything he bought, and no storefront or assessor could move it. Not obsessive. The knowledge that makes an unfair assessment impossible to hide. Number 3. Want less and live below your means. Beneath every habit sits the hardest one, wanting less than you're able to buy, so there's always a margin for a bill like this. A person who lives 1 notch below their income has a cushion when the tax jumps. A person who lives at the edge has a crisis. Vernon lives simply and always has a little set aside, so the hike bent his budget instead of breaking it. His grandfather decided long ago what enough was, and the margin that left him carried the family through every hard year, not going without. The breathing room that turns a hike into an inconvenience. Number 2. Owe no one. Never finance the tax bill. The one thing a Depression family feared more than a bill was a debt, because a debt on a fixed income only grows. So you never put the property tax on a credit card at 20% interest, and you never take a loan against the house to pay it. You use the exemptions, the appeal, the deferral, and the cushion instead. Vernon fought his hike every legal way rather than borrow a dime to pay it. His grandfather owed no living soul $1 when he died and left the farm free and clear. Not stubborn pride, the clear knowledge that debt would cost him the very home he was trying to save. Number 1. Never accept the bill as final, fight it, and stack every relief. Here is the move that saved Vernon his home, and it's the sum of everything his grandfather taught him. He did not pay the hike. He treated the assessment as the opening offer it was. He read the notice, pulled the comparable sales, and appealed the inflated value, and won a reduction. Then he stacked every relief on top: the senior homestead exemption, the assessment freeze, the circuit breaker credit, each one cutting the bill further. And underneath it all, the depression habits, the cushion, the scratch cooking, the claimed benefits, covered what was left without $1 of debt. The county was counting on him to do what most seniors do: sigh, assume the bill was fixed, and pay it. It was never fixed. The assessment can be challenged. The exemptions can be claimed. The programs can be stacked. The relief almost never comes to you because the whole system is built so that the senior who never fights simply pays the most. Vernon fought and kept his home, and his grandfather's rule proved true one more time. Never accept the bill as final. That was the whole secret. None of this required a lawyer, a windfall, or a single dollar Vernon didn't already have. It required attention, the willingness to look at the tax bill plainly and refuse to believe it was set in stone. The generation that survived the Great Depression understood something this country forgot the moment times got comfortable. Comfort is not the same as security. A paid-off house is not truly yours if you'll lose it to a bill you never questioned. The ability to pay a hike quietly is worthless beside the knowledge of how to fight it and win. Vernon Tate is 75, and he beat a property tax hike that would have forced other seniors out of their homes, not because he had more money, but because he refused to accept the number and knew every way to lower it. His grandfather survived the worst economy in American history by questioning every price and owing no one, and everything Vernon needed to keep his home in 2026, that man taught him at a kitchen table long ago. He was never the poor one. He was the one who never stopped fighting. On his street, other seniors paid the hike quietly, and some lost their homes to it, while Vernon kept his by doing the one thing his grandfather swore by. And the fight, then and now, is the one thing no rising bill can ever take away.